Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawk. We are Southwest.
Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT&T Hubers TV. Mother Nature trying to cooperate here this afternoon. The rain is slackened off to just a light drizzle. The umbrella's still out. The rain gear is in vogue this afternoon at Globe Life Park as your Rangers get set to host the Los Angeles Angels. And welcome into kind of a drippy Globe Park at the moment with Tom Greaves, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us on this Sunday afternoon of Ranger baseball. Looks like Rangers and Angels will be able to play fairly uninterrupted this afternoon. It's just a little soggy right at the moment. Nick Tepesch on the hill for the Rangers this afternoon. He's been anything but soggy of late, Tom.
You're right, Buzz. 5 days ago, we were talking about Nick Tepesch, and we said he's coming off 2 nice starts. Hopefully he can show consistency and make it a 3rd nice start. That's exactly what he did against Tampa Bay. He pitched 7 innings, only gave up a couple of runs. So now he's working on 3 straight solid starts, trying to make it a 4th today. We're looking for development and consistency, and Nick is definitely starting to show that.
He certainly has, and he'll have a test today. These Angels pose a very stern test for any pitcher, and Nick Tepesch will be up to the task. Rangers trying to salvage the game of this 3-game series. Angels have won the first 2. We'll have the finale for you coming up right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event, now playing at a Ford dealer near you. By AT&T Hubers TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT, mobilizing your world. And by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. The Rangers taking the field on this Sunday afternoon. Still a very, very light mist falling. It looks as though we'll clear out here and we'll have a nice afternoon before we get things started. Let's head down to the field. Emily Jones is standing by him.
Yeah, should be prime pitching conditions for Nick Tepesch today. He has been pretty good over his last few starts, 1-1 over his last 3 with a 2.41 ERA. And his pitching coach Mike Maddox says he is definitely starting to see something click with his young right-hander.
I think he's kind of learning the ins and outs of being a major league pitcher and what it takes. I think earlier when he was younger, he just kind of came up and whatever the catcher called, he threw. He really didn't know why. I think now through some experiences, some schools of hard knocks even, that he's kind of figured it out a little bit. You can see openly there's more emotion when he's out there, whereas before he held everything in and he'd get so frustrated and it would just build from inside till he was ready to erupt. But now he lets it out. He wears a little more emotions on his sleeve now. So he's really transforming into a reliable major league pitcher.
And it seems like this season, more than any in recent history, we've talked so much about the non-physical aspects of this game of baseball. Maybe it's because this team isn't where it wants to be in terms of wins and losses. But Buzz and Tom, I'd be curious to hear your remarks to that, if you feel like it's the same way that we've been talking a lot more about the mental aspect of this game than the physical, because the struggles have been so apparent this year.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into that as the game goes on. It's kind of interesting with all the young and inexperienced players, what you end up talking about and watching their development. Nick Tepesch will be facing a lineup this afternoon that has put together some pretty good offensive numbers the last month and a half. Cole Calhoun, the right fielder, leads off. Mike Trout's in center. The DH today is Albert Pujols. Howie Kendrick moves up to the cleanup spot. Eric Ibar bats fifth. David Freese follows. Efren Navarro gets the start at first. Colin Cowgill is in left and batting ninth. The catcher, Hank Conger.
We'll look at the Sonic scouting report in just a second on Nick Tepesch. 4-7. ERA coming down at 4.29. He's had 14 starts. His last 3 starts we talked about, very consistent. A 241 earned run average and a nice opponent's batting average.
And he gets a very hot-hitting Cole Calhoun to line to right field. That is out number 1.
Home numbers better than the road numbers. 214 opponent's average and a 355 earned run average here at home. And just like last night, Cole Calhoun hit the ball hard his first time up. Last night, Leonis ran it down in front of the center field wall. Tonight, it's hit right at Alex Rios for a quick out. So a good start for Nick.
Yeah, 2 pitches, 1 out. Nobody on base for Mike Trout. Trout in a, for him, horrific slump. He is 0 for 16 times to the plate. That average now down to 289. He is 2 for 4 against Nick Tepesch. 27 home runs, still 86 RBI. And Tepesch fires a strike to the outside corner. It's 1-1. Tepesch to the wide. The right-hander comes back and hits the inside corner.
Well, you can see how uncomfortable he is when you throw it in there and throw it up a little bit. He just doesn't have the same swing. And he's not going very well right now, and so that's probably accentuated a little bit. But from our perspective, if you keep it up there, you've got a much better chance. We've said it every time we play him, but it's true.
The strikeouts mounting for Trout, and pretty good indicator that he is struggling. He's not going to have a low strikeout count no matter what. That pitch right on his fist. But when he's struggling, guys really find that hole has expanded, the hole in his swing, which is from about the belt on up to the top of the strike zone and the inside third of the plate. Still 2-2. Tepesch back to him. High in the air to left field. Shin-Soo Choo peering up between the raindrops. Waiting for it to come down. Makes the catch. That thing up there for a long time.
That ball was that was up a little bit, but it was more out over the plate. Allowed him to extend his arms a little bit.
So 2 gone. Albert Pujols coming up. Let's take a look at the Ranger defense, delivered to you by Brake Check. Outfield, you saw Choo in left field, Robertson in center, Rios is in right. Around the infield, Aaron Sevilla at first base, Odor and Andrews up the middle, Rosales spelling Adrian Beltre at third, and Giovanni Soto is catcher. First pitch to Albert Pujols is high and tight for ball one. Pujols at 271. It is 23rd home run of the year in last night's ball game in the first inning. 2-0. Pujols just 1 for 7 in the series. Well, the Rangers have kept him in check a little bit. 2 for 3 in his career against Nick Tepesch. Pujols now with 515 career home runs. Pounds that pitch foul, and the count moves to 2-1. Angels come in a virtual tie with the Oakland A's. They are 2 percentage points ahead of Oakland. Tied basically for first. Angels have won 4 in a row. And they're having a good year away from home. They are 31-26. 3-1 to Pujols. So with 2 outs, Pujols trying to get aboard. Howie Kendrick, the leadoff, I should say the cleanup man, is waiting to be next. Mike Socha's team back in first, or tied for first. And the pitch outside, ball 4. So Tepesch being careful with Pujols and lost him. The American League West standings as we begin play today. The Angels with 1 less loss than the Athletics. They have 1 less win too. So basically tied, and the Mariners playing well, 6.5 back in the Astros and Rangers. Rangers at 29 games under 500. First time since 2005 that they have been that many games under 500. I'm sorry, 1985. They've been that many under 500. To right field, a play out there for Alex Rios. He puts it away, and that will do it. So the 2-out walk, no damage to Nick Tepesch. 1 left aboard after half inning. Angels nothing, Rangers coming up. By Nick Tepesch in the top of the first. Now the Rangers coming to bat against Hector Santiago. We'll take a look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for your Texas Rangers. Shin-Soo Choo in the outfield today, leading off. He's playing left. Elvis Andrus is next, then the right fielder Alex Rios. Adrian Beltre, a partial day off, DH. J.P. Arancibia at first, Adam Rosales at third. Giovanni Soto catches, Rougned Odor at second. And the number 9 hitter is the center fielder Daniel Robertson.
Sonic scouting report for Hector Santiago. Losing record with a good ERA. Kind of surprising for a really good team that far over 500. 21 games, 16 starts. His last 6 games, he's tuned it up. A 137 ERA, a 172 opponent's batting average. Got sent to the minor leagues back in May. Since he's come back, he's been pitching very well. Kind of what they expected when they made the trade for him in the offseason.
Yep. Santiago and Tyler Skaggs coming over in the same trade, and they thought that they were going to stock up their pitching staff with their starting staff with those two, and Skaggs on the DL with elbow surgery, and Santiago got off to an 0-7 start. Santiago with the Chicago White Sox prior to the trade to the Angels. This is outside and low. It's 3 balls and a strike. Well, Chu trying to get aboard to start off this Ranger first inning. Elvis Andrus, the shortstop, will be next. 3-1 pitch. And a chopper down to first. Navarro right near the bag steps on first, and Chu is gone. That is one away, and now we'll see Elvis Andrus. Take a look at the Angel defense, brought to you by Progressive here this afternoon. Outfield of Cowgill in left, Trout in center, and Calhoun in right. You saw Efren Navarro at first. Kendrick and Ibar up the middle. David Freese at third. Hank Conger is catching this afternoon. And Hector Santiago on the mound. Santiago, a 26-year-old out of Newark, New Jersey. Elvis stepped to the plate with a .272 average with a couple of home runs and 32 RBI. Takes Lowen inside for ball one. Elvis just 2 for 12 against Santiago in his career. Fouls off that next pitch. And the count evens at a ball and a strike. Elvis coming into play today, a 5-game hitting streak. But he's only hit .273 over that span. It's right about where his season average is. The 1-1. Howie Kendrick scoops that up. 2 gone.
Mentioned that Santiago had been sent to the minor leagues. Since he's come back, he's had 12 games, 9 starts. He's had a few relief appearances mixed in. His ERA since he's been back is .272. And since July 10th, he's 3-0 with a .195 earned run average. So he's on a pretty good roll, kind of right at the right time for the Angels as they're coming down the stretch, battling the A's for the West Division. They have their 5th starter throwing the way he is right now. And as you mentioned, Buzz, with Skaggs on the disabled list, they kind of need him to step up. He appears to be doing that right now.
Yep. Santiago deals a strike to Alex Rios. Santiago got his first win in an Angel uniform against the Rangers back on that date that you mentioned, Tom, the 10th of July. Drops in the off-speed pitch. Alex taking it all the way. No balls and 2 strikes. Rios, a .285 average, drove in 49th run last night. 4 home runs for Rios. Alex, as you can see, one of the best in the American League against left-handers, that .357 average. Another 0-2. And another foul ball. A base hit last night for Alex. Snapped an 0 for 16. And he has been battling that ankle sprain that he got right after the All-Star break up in Toronto. Last 13 games, he's just 5 for 45. It's a 111 mark. Breaking ball hit in the air to center field. Trout dead in his tracks. Puts it away, and that'll do it. So a couple of ground balls and a fly ball, and the Rangers are gone in order. 13 pitch, first inning for Hector Santiago. On to the second, scoreless in Arlington. Enjoying some of their refreshments out here at Globe Life Park. We understand the Rangers have done a little research, and this is the coolest August game at Globe Life Park since 1997. 71 degrees at first pitch. 72 now on the scoreboard out there. Eric Aybar showing a bunt and takes strike one from Nick Tepesch. Aybar at 266. He has 6 home runs, has driven in 52. 1 ball and 1 strike. Aybar, who you may remember, hit a lot at the top of the order for the Angels and also a lot down toward the bottom. Odor throws and pulling Arancibia off the bag. Odor couldn't get very much on the ball. It was kind of a little blooper over there. And Arancibia looked like he was going after the ball a little awkwardly. And Ron Washington looking into the Ranger dugout. See if he can get word from upstairs. Joey Probinski, the video replay specialist for the Rangers, taking a look at it. He will relay his thoughts out to Tim Bogart.
See if we can tell. It looked like he kept his foot on the bag. See if the ball got there in time. He's on the bag. I don't know if he did. He must have beat it out. No, his foot is off the bag. There it is.
Yeah.
You could see what happened to Odor. He couldn't get the ball out of his glove, and when he finally did, it was at the top of his fingers, right on his fingertips. He couldn't throw it. He had to push it. He pushed a little changeup over to first base instead of a flip. Otherwise, I think if he had a grip on it, it would have been a relatively easy out for him.
That's going to be ruled an infield single for Aybar. And 1 on, nobody out. David Freese, the hitter. Freese batting at 258. Rangers finally cooled him off a little bit in last night's ball game. This pitch to him is low and outside for ball 1. Freese 0 for 3 last night. He was hit by a pitch. He had a couple of hits here in the opener on Friday night. You see the last 2 weeks, though, he has been pretty much on fire. 367. 1 ball, no strikes. Tepesch, a check of Aybar. And Freese loops one to right. That is falling in a hurry. It's down for a base hit. Aybar got to get a great read on it, so he continues to third. And Rios overran it, which prevented any throw from going to third. But the Angels now, with an infield single and a bloop single, have runners at the corners, nobody out for Efrain Navarro.
You know, it's a good start for the Angels. It's a tough start for Nick Tepesch. A little stinky infield dribbler that I think most of the time Odor would make the play on it. He couldn't get the ball out of his glove. It was an infield hit. Then Nick makes a pretty good pitch to Freese. He jammed him and just lofted a little blooper over the second baseman into right field. First and third now, nobody out.
I would say it never rains, it pours, but that's not a good analogy for this afternoon.
No,
we want to keep that out
unless the Rangers are hitting.
Yeah, we want to keep that rain idea out of the picture. Well, here's Navarro. First ball swinging, base hit to right field. Aybar will trot down the line and cross home plate, and Navarro on the first pitch gets an RBI single, and he puts the Angels on top 1-0.
He tries to get ahead with a fastball. It's a pretty good pitch. The Angels are doing a lot of first pitch hitting. Calhoun hit the first pitch. A couple other guys have swung at the first pitch, and so does Herrera right there. Got one he liked and hit it into right field. First run for the Angels.
Navarro with his 10th RBI of the year. Still nobody out. Runners at first and second now. And Colin Cowgill at the plate. And the Rangers going to play the infield, the corner men, up a bit, protecting against a possible Cowgill bunt. No bunt here, and he takes strike 1. Cowgill, a 271 average. 5 home runs, 17 driven in. He has given the Rangers fits in the past. Hitting .444 against Ranger pitching this year. Chopper off the glove And that's going to be in no man's land. It'll go for a base hit for Cowgill. Oh, and Nick Tepesch getting bled to death by little chinks here and there. That loads the bases with nobody out.
That's a second infield dribbler that turns into a hit. Go along with the soft line drive and a blooper. You see Nick tried to go back to his right. The way he comes off the mound made it difficult for him to get the glove back on the other side, and he wasn't able to make the play. Jammed him with a pitch.
Yeah.
Just a little tapper, so it's not that tough a play. He just couldn't quite reach it.
You know, I'm not sure though if Nick had knocked that down, if anybody would have had a play on it anyway. It was not hit very hard.
You know, Elvis might have with the being a double play guy. Would have taken a nice play on the run, but it was going to be a tough play all the way around.
Well, 4 consecutive singles, a blooper, 2 infield singles, and 1 line drive. Bases loaded, a run across, nobody out. Hank Conger, the switch hitting catcher up there. 0-1 pitch. Snap throw to first. And Soto had a chance to get Cowgill down there with Aaron Sebia cutting in behind him. But the throw was high and on the foul side of the bag. You can see Giovanni saying, "Doc, missed my chance." Well, 1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Conger, who's hitting at .223. 23 RBI. And he pops one up. That'll be on the infield. The infield fly rule in effect. Elvis will take care of it for out number 1. An important out for Nick Tepesch. Mike Scioscia saying that's not really what I had in mind.
Right fielder Cole Calhoun.
Got that pitch up a bit, and Conger hit it right up the chute. So Soto out to have a little chat with Nick Tepesch. The Angels go back to the top of the order. Cole Calhoun, who lined out to right field on the second pitch of the game. Up there now, bases loaded, 1 away. Calhoun at .294. Highest slugging percentage of any leadoff hitter in the American League. A slow chopper to second. The only play that Odor has is to first. Calhoun is out. In to score is Freeze. And the Angels now have a 2-0 lead here in the second.
Well, that's two runs in an inning on 4 straight hits and a couple of and a ground ball, and not one ball has really been hit hard. Even Navarro's hit was a line drive to right field, wasn't hit all that hard. And Nick is making some nice pitches. They're not hitting the ball that hard. It's just been one of those innings where it hasn't gone his way.
If he can get Trout here and minimize the damage, it would certainly help the cause. Trout, a fly ball to the left in the first, and he takes high and tight for ball 1. Trout with 86 runs driven in. Rangers defend Trout pretty much straight away. Center fielder Daniel Robertson maybe 4 steps over toward right center. 1-0 pitch. Off the plate inside. You can see where Tepesch is trying to establish that fastball. Trout already has set an Angel club record for the most home runs and RBI from the number 2 spot in the order. Toward the hole, cut off by Rosales. Hard throw, and he got it. Trout gets down that line pretty quick. So Tepesch able to put the capper on a rough inning. 2 runs on 4 hits and 2 left. After 1.5, the Angels 2, the Rangers nothing. To tweet your photo for a chance to have it shown on one of our upcoming broadcasts. And that's all thanks to the good folks at AT&T. Simply use hashtag Southwest Fan Photo. Your photo might be selected to be aired during one of our upcoming telecasts. We'll have today's selection a little bit later on for you. Adrian Beltre starting off the Rangers second. Angels with a 2 spot in the top of the second inning. Leading 2-0, and Beltre skies to right field. Cowgill handles that. 1 gone. Let's welcome in Jim Knox. Jim?
I appreciate it, Buzz. Plenty of families enjoying tonight's cool day here at Globe Life Park at Community Corner. Rangers pitching coach, that is Mike Maddox, and Andy Hawkins put on an intense pitching clinic yesterday to aspiring big leaguers. The proceeds go to the Alopecia Foundation. To find more about the Alopecia Foundation, log on to NAAF.org. Buzz?
All right, Knoxy, thank you. Well, that'd be a great opportunity to get some pitching instruction from Mike and Hawk. Two of the very best. There's Hawk out there in the Ranger bullpen. Of course, Mike Maddox in the Ranger dugout. J.P. Arencibia, the hitter. 0-1 pitch to him. Hit high in the air, but pulled well foul down the left field line. And back into the club level of seats. We gave that a pretty good ride. But he's down in the count now, 0-2. Arencibia at 178 with 8 home runs, 29 driven in. One ball, 2 strikes. Arencibia snapped an 0 for 19 yesterday with an RBI single. That came in the 5th inning. Drove in the first Rangers run. Call, strike 3. Santiago, fastball on the inside corner. Arencibia caught looking, 2 gone.
I'd pull a neck muscle if I called strike 3 like Tom Hellion. Boy, he put something into that call. Check out the home plate umpire.
Yeah, you're right. Have to go see Dr. Drew Dossett real quick and get that thing fixed.
Like Leslie Nielsen back there. Start doing the moonwalk.
Here's Adam Rosales. Rosales, a 304 hitter as he faces Santiago. 3 home runs, 11 driven in. And he pops one up. Off with the mask, Hank Conger, near home plate. And that will do it. So it's an 8-pitch second inning for Hector Santiago. Rangers gone in order. We have finished 2 in Arlington. It's the Angels 2 and the Rangers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. And as you know, all you Ranger fans, that is Greens Hill out there, and there's a reason we're showing you that. Joining us now, Mayor Richard Green, Arlington Mayor, when this ballpark was built. And thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
It's a great privilege to be up here with the best television team in baseball.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Spoken like a true politician, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, we're going to induct Ambassador Schieffer, Tom Schieffer, into the Rangers Hall of Fame next weekend, and that's a big day for everybody in the Rangers family. And certainly, you had an awful lot to do with Tom Schieffer in developing the idea of this ballpark and getting it from the drawing board to the actuality.
Well, it was a turning point in the saga that had developed after the Bush Group bought the team, and all the speculation had to do with where the future of the Rangers was going to unfold. And when Tom Schieffer was named the partner in charge of ballpark development, things began to unfold in our direction, and the rest, as they say, is history.
And what was it like working with Tom?
It was absolutely a great pleasure. When we first met, my plan was to suggest to him that we need to keep in mind at all times that we're working toward a win-win-win situation. The ball club needed to win, the city needed to win, most of all the people of Arlington needed to win, and I was all prepared to make that pitch to him, but he beat me to it. He started the conversation like that. So.
You knew you were off to a pretty good start when that happened.
That's right.
And it wasn't without controversy, because there was another side to the argument, but now that it's all over and done with, it's pretty hard to look back and say anything went wrong, isn't it?
Well, you know, in the largest voter turnout in the history of the city for just a pure local issue, the people of Arlington responded overwhelmingly. I had suspected that we would succeed, but I had no idea that it would be a 2-1 margin of victory with the huge voter turnout that we had. So they confirmed that what the city and the Rangers had done in putting together a rather unique public-private partnership was a deal they could support.
That's great.
Well, it certainly, you know, from our standpoint, drive to right, nice play by Alex Rios to charge in and take a base hit away from Howie Kendrick, so 2 gone. From our standpoint, there is nothing when we come to work and look at this ballpark that was done wrong. Maybe from your perspective, you might be able to nitpick and get a few, but you've got to be happy with a finished product.
Absolutely, and Tom Schieffer led that effort. They met every week and talked about every detail, and together with David Schwartz, the design architect, those meetings sometimes were really very interesting because they would get into a discussion with each other about very small things. And David Schwartz would explain it's all about the detail, that the wonder of what they were trying to create was going to depend on the attention to the detail, and that's the reason that it's perfect.
Yeah,
well, you know, we know Tom very well, and having worked with him, he is definitely a guy that shows a lot of attention to detail. Did you feel that way working with him too?
Absolutely. He was patient. He considered every aspect of every element of the discussion that was going to take place and unfold between the two of us and between the owners and the city council in working this out. And his approach to it and his awareness of it being a public discussion and one that needed to be completely transparent traced back to his days in the legislature. So he had a great background in dealing with the public, and that made all the difference.
Sure.
3-0 the count, and Ibar takes a strike. Well, this weekend coming up, I should say a week this weekend, but Friday night, of course, or Friday, I should say, the Hall of Fame luncheon.
Yep.
And it's Nolan Ryan replica jersey night out here, and then the on-field induction on Saturday for Tom Schieffer. It's going to be a big event. All the Ranger alumni coming back and everybody involved.
It's going to be a terrific 2-day event, and Tom is so deserving. I was just thrilled when I heard that the decision had been made to make him one of Tom's fellow members of the Hall of Fame, and there couldn't have been a better decision because Tom did such a terrific job of working with the city and with me in structuring a deal that was going to get public support. And then he went to work in a tireless effort over the next months and a couple of years as construction went on to see to it that it not only met the expectations and the promises that we made, but that it exceeded them. And in every case it did. There was actually one left over, an unfinished business item, and that was we promised a World Series, and until 2010, the Rangers bailed us out on that. So we even got that covered. So.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll look forward to seeing you next weekend.
Great to be here. Thank you, guys.
Okay,
you bet.
Thanks.
All right, 2-0 in favor of the Angels after 2.5. Well, Angels leading 2-0. They have out hit the Rangers 4-0 so far. Rangers looking for their first base runner as Giovanni Soto starts off the third. Soto, Odor, and Robertson to face Hector Santiago, who throws strike one. Giovanni, a .258 average, a home run, and 3 driven in. And Santiago lets one slip high and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Soto last year had great numbers, great success against the Angels. He hit .440 when 11 for 25, hit 3 home runs in 7 games against Los Angeles. 2-1 pitch to the right side, and that's going to beat the ship.
Take that.
Giovanni Soto, a little inside out swing. He has a leadoff base hit to start the Ranger third. And let's go down and check in with Emily Jones. Em?
Well, Buzz, once again, the Rangers find themselves in an early hole, but as we've seen the last couple of nights, there is no quit in this team, and perhaps another, maybe not late inning rally, but maybe a middle inning rally headed our way. Wash, nonetheless, never counting his guys out.
They go out there every day with the purpose, and the purpose is to win a ball game. You know, nobody's satisfied coming up short. Oh, you played a great game. That's not what this is about. It's about winning ball games. And I think if we can take advantage, as I keep saying, of some of the opportunities we create early, and then take advantage of the opportunities we create late, which we've been able to do lately, is to create plenty of opportunities late, then I think the difference will show up in the score.
Here's one of those early opportunities Wash is talking about, getting the lead-off man on. Hopefully the guys can do something with it.
Thanks, Em. Yeah, it is an opportunity. There's no doubt about that. They have made it difficult on the Angels in the last couple of games, losing both nights 5-4, but they've also made it difficult on themselves, the Rangers have, by getting behind early and having to play from behind. Odor at .251. Rugnet taking that next pitch, trying to go the other way with it, and fouled it back to the screen. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Odor, 5 home runs and 26 driven in. 5 for 23 on this homestand. That's a .217 mark. And Rugnet finding the adjustments a little more difficult as the season has gone on. He gets fisted there and fights it off foul. 1-2 still. Just watching Hector Santiago, he's a different pitcher than he was earlier in the year when we saw him, in that he's starting to execute more pitches, especially inside to hitters, getting that ball in on him and setting up everything else. Call strike 3. Being able to make a pitch like that, down and in, that caught the inside corner. Second strikeout for Santiago, 1 away, and Daniel Robertson coming out.
Okay, even with the 0-7 start that Santiago had, his overall numbers are pretty good. He's got a .225 opponent's batting average. He only, coming into the game, had given up 76 hits in 90 innings. Well, he's been tough to hit. ERA is real solid. He's got a losing record. He's 3-7, but his ERA is 3.59.
And you got to look on that last pitch to Rougned Odor, our slow motion shot. Showed you the screwball action that his changeup has. He doesn't call it a screwball, but I don't care what you call it, it still works like one. Daniel Robertson at 288. He has had a lot of opportunities this year and capitalized on most of them. He has been very, very good. A .329 hitter in his last 32 games. That pitch in for a strike to even things up at 1-1. Daniel, in the 7 starts now that he's had in August, has a .429 on base percentage. Fouls that pitch out of play down the right side, and the count moves to 1-2. Overall in the month, not just the starts, but the .370 average with 3 RBI for Robertson. Daniel today making the start in center field. This is his 13th start as a center fielder. Santiago okays the sign. The left-hander checks first. 2-2. Rangers now have matched their longest streak of futility against the Angels. A 9-game losing streak. They're trying to snap that here today. Second time in the total years against each other that Rangers have lost that many in a row. Drive to right field. Slicing back toward Cole Calhoun. He's able to make the grab. That is out number 2. And Soto back to first. A couple of looks. You get a good idea of that 4-seam fastball grip for Santiago. Kind of a short arm. Then he, with a changeup, he'll go to a circle changeup. You see the index finger and the thumb making that circle. The 3 other fingers on the ball split apart. That's the one he turns over a little bit and acts like a screwball. Here's Shin-Soo Choo. And the pitch outside for ball 1. Choo began things by tapping out to first. Got 2 outs. Soto at first base. Pitch is wide. Conger keeps it close enough to prevent Soto from advancing. 2-0 now the count. Giovanni thought about it, but that one of those balls in the dirt kind of rolling away from him in a straight line that you couldn't really tell how far away that was from Conger until it was too late. Giovanni not being held close by Navarro. Navarro a couple steps behind him. And that pitch on the outside corner. 2-1. Santiago agrees. Belt high set. And Choo almost had that hit him. He didn't exactly jump out of the way. He was going to let that curveball impact him if it would. Now 3-1. It's the same count that Choo had first time.
You can't stick your arm out, but you make a little move. You can stay right where you were. You just can't move into the ball. If you're going to get hit by one, that's the one you want to get hit by.
Fastball to the outside corner. The count is full. So now with 2 outs, Giovanni Soto will get a running start.
Just, keep wearing it out just like we did with David Murphy.
Yep.
But that pitch just, and higher than that, just keeps getting called a strike on Choo.
Payoff pitch. Call strike 3. Now Choo caught looking, and Santiago able to work around the leadoff single. We're going to the 4th inning. Angels 2-0 over the Rangers. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. And by the all-new Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. Now we head to the top of the 4th inning, and as always, joining us in the booth now, Mark McLemore, co-host of Rangers Live. And well, Mac, you're able to do it yesterday. You got a half an inning now to get loose, get the offense loose. Worry about defense right now, but get loose. The Rangers need a little help offensively today.
All right, I'm not making any predictions like I did yesterday, but
okay.
I think I can work something out. I don't know what inning, 4, 5, 6, not sure, but we're going to get something done.
All right. You're going to stay here to get it right today. Come up a run short the last 2 nights.
That's not good.
You got to get that done. Efrain Navarro, the number 7 hitter, starting things off here in the 4th inning, takes a strike. It's 2-1 now from Tepesch. Navarro, the only one in that 2nd inning that hit the ball on the nose. He had a line drive on the first pitch that he saw for an RBI single to right field. That was one of 4 hits in the inning. And the other 3 looked like they were hit by this morning's newspaper. It's foul back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a wet one at that. Nick Tepesch, though, to his credit, able to escape without too much damage done. 2 across. He had the bases loaded. And nobody out with 2 runs across. Was able to get out without any further damage. 2-2 pitch. Straightened him up, and the count is full. So Navarro leading off. He'll be followed by the left fielder, Colin Cowgill. Sky is brightening a bit here at Globe Life Park. Payoff pitch. Outside, ball 4. Tepesch trying to go with the breaking ball and didn't quite get it to break in. Take time here for a Mazda game break with Aaron Hardigan. Aaron? All right, Aaron, thank you. Giancarlo Stanton. He's anything like he was. There goes the runner from first. The hit and run is on. Cowgill squirts one into right field for a base hit. On around to third goes Navarro. Colin Cowgill had to hit that with the knuckle on his right hand, the first knuckle.
That's the second ball he's hit like that. A little dribbler back to the mound, and he picked the right time to hit that little dribbler to second base. You can see the hit and run. Odor goes over to cover, and that's about all you have to do. Just make it go in that direction. And it's first and third. His thumbs hold up, got a chance.
Looked like Rougned Odor might have. Did he leave too early? Did he go to the bag, Matt?
Well, what he did was he went straight to the bag, and that's not what you're supposed to do in that situation. And this is one of the things that he'll figure out, he'll learn. In this situation, you've got a close ball game. The manager's probably going to put a hit and run on, but you've got to be alive for that. Both the shortstop and second baseman have to be aware of that. So sometimes, number one, you shift coverage, meaning you change coverage. Normally, the second baseman will cover on that, but sometimes you have to say the shortstop. Now, you see here, Odor is right where he is, and now he takes off and goes directly towards second base. What he's supposed to do is come toward home a couple of steps until the ball is hit, and then break to the bag, just so he's able to cover something especially like that. Now, if the ball's hit hard, doesn't matter where you are unless it's hit right at you. But a ball like that, you have time to recover, or you still have time to get to second base. But all of that is set up before the pitcher comes set, because then you have to position yourself to where that will enable you to do that.
Elvis goes out, makes a nice catch on the little pop-up from Hank Conger. And everybody stays put. Runners at first and third now with one out. And Cole Calhoun. Second time Conger's been up in a situation where he's had runners at third and less than two out, and both times he's popped out to Elvis. A good pitch by Tepesh. Now he'll face Cole Calhoun, who is lined to right and grounded out. Drove in a run with that ground out in the second inning. Rangers with runners at first and third will play the infield back at double play depth. Adam Rosales, the third baseman, well off the line. A good 25 feet off the third base line, even with the bag. 1 ball, no strikes. Calhoun now with 40 runs driven in this year. As we talked about, that's all from the leadoff spot for Calhoun. Tepesh, the high set, a check of the runners. And he will drive Cowgill back with a toss. Calhoun, a 26-year-old. Fouls that pitch off. 1 ball and 1 strike. Calhoun checking with third base coach Gary DiSarcina. See what Mike Scioscia might have in mind. DiSarcina, an outstanding third baseman for the Angels, among others. Now Tepesh ready. Cowgill with pretty good speed over there, so Nick doing a good job of making sure he doesn't have a walking lead at first base. Cowgill back in. And Tepesh setting the sign from Giovanni Soto. Time was called before that throw to first was made. Home plate umpire Tom Hallion. You could hear him almost all over the ballpark. Very demonstrative back there. 1 out, runners at the corners. A 1-1 count to Cole Calhoun. gotta be careful. If you're Giovanni Soto, that might scare you to death.
No kidding.
Flinching.
Yeah, those guys back there that would holler, yeah, they would scare me because I'm focused on one thing. And it's usually that pitcher. It better be. And you hear somebody yell behind you. That's not a good feeling.
Pitch high and outside, 2-1. Yeah, especially with somebody that close.
Now, Nick, coming into this game, had walked 1 or none in 4 of his last 5 starts. He didn't walk anybody in 7 innings against Tampa Bay. Today he's walked 3, and he's thrown almost as many balls as strikes. He's thrown 55 pitches, 28 strikes, 27 balls. So he is struggling a little bit with his command. Really a little bit of everything, all his pitches.
Behind in the count, 2-1 to Calhoun. There goes Cowgill. The pitch is popped foul. That's behind home plate. And again, Mike Scioscia setting the runner in motion, trying to create a hole for Calhoun to shoot through. Cowgill back to first. The count is even at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Scioscia at various parts with a lineup like this, with Calhoun with good speed, Cowgill with good speed down at the bottom of the order. Loves to get guys in motion. Once you get to Trout and Pujols and the guys in the middle, not so much running, but these guys, Mike Scioscia will try and get folks moving around all over the place. Line drive caught by Nick Tepesch, who turns it into a double play. Attaboy, Nick, way to charge that thing. Well, Tepesch out of a jam. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. After 3.5, 2-0 Angels.
Globe Life Park, Buzz and Tom in the upper deck right here with a lot of kids who took part in the Rangers summer reading program. We're talking about hundreds of kids having a good time here at the ballpark today, of course. But here's what they need to do. 35 days they had to read for 20 minutes each day. And Nate, what book did you read, buddy?
Big Nate.
Big Nate. Okay, there we go. What about you?
The Neptune Project.
All right, very nice. You guys got a lot of cool prizes. You got a lot of food. You got Ranger tickets. You also got tickets to the zoo. It was a great experience, wasn't it, Nate? All right, good to have you out here. What about you, sir? What book did you... All right. Just kidding. He's grandfather hanging out with the kids today. All right, appreciate it, guys. Keep up the good work. Enjoy the game. Thanks.
Elvis Andrus leading off the Ranger 4th inning. It'll be Andrus, Rios, and Beltre to face Santiago. Angels leading 2-0. The pitch is low. Elvis in front of the count now, 3-0. Elvis a ground ball to second, his first time up there. Santiago back to the plate. Fires a strike. Rangers with just 1 hit. That was a leadoff single in the 3rd by Giovanni Soto. Ball 4. Elvis draws the leadoff walk. So back to that innings, that first hitter has been aboard. Now Alex Rios. During that half inning, Ron Washington explaining, Mac, I'm sure exactly what you were talking about to Rougned Odor.
Absolutely. So he's telling him he needs to take a couple of steps in and wait till that ball's hit and then break to the bag, or just hold your ground and break to the bag once the ball's hit or crosses the plate. You don't want to give up that position early, because that was a 200 hopper that got through the infield that probably shouldn't have.
Now throw to first, and Elvis back. 1-0 the count to Alex Rios. Rios, fly ball to center in the first inning. 284 the average for the Ranger right fielder. Santiago, a long look to Andrus. That hits the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Santiago, 48 pitches thus far, 28 of them strikes. Walk to Andrus, the first pass issued by the left-hander. And he hits strike 2 on the inside corner. Santiago started to go into the stretch, thought better of it, so he backed off with his left foot. Now the left-hander is ready. Remember, the Rangers against the Angels just have been running wild. Elvis, Alex Rios, Leonys Martin have just gone crazy running. The game is 2-0 right now, and that certainly wouldn't prohibit Elvis from trying to swipe a bag. Rios back in. Conger flashing the signs out. Elvis a lead at first. The breaking ball is low and inside. 2-2.
You know, most people don't realize or think that hitter behind a base stealer is very important. You saw Alex call timeout there because Santiago took extra time on the mound making the decision to pitch or go at first base. And that's because that base stealer, the longer he's out there, if he's ready to go and wanting to go, if that pitcher holds on to the ball, he can, mess up that timing by that, for that runner at first base. So that hitter at the plate, he needs to call timeout and take some of that pressure off the runner at first.
And Hal Gibson, you saw the first base umpire on the appeal, rang up the swing on Alex Rios. So Rios gone on strikes. 1 gone for Adrian Beltre.
When Santiago first signed, he was a relief pitcher. Then in 2011 in the minor leagues, he became a starting pitcher. When he got to the big leagues with the White Sox the next year, they sent him back to the bullpen, actually tried him out as the closer. He ended up saving 4 games for that back in 2012.
There goes Elvis. Conger's throw, not in time. And Elvis in with the theft of second base.
And last year,
his 22nd.
with the White Sox, he actually started more than he relieved. He had 23 starts. Kind of like this year, he had a really good ERA, 3.50, but a losing record. He was 4-9 last year. Elvis got a good jump. Stole that one pretty easily.
Well, Elvis in scoring position now. A count of 1 ball and no strikes to Adrian Beltre. Beltre has been driving in runs at a pretty good clip. Takes inside, 2 balls, no strikes. I guess the question is, will he get the opportunity? With Santiago at first base open. Adrian probably the one guy identified by Mike Scioscia's club that is the run producer in the middle of that order. This one off the end of the bat toward left center field. Calgill into the alley, makes the grab. Back to second is Elvis. 2 gone. And Adrian got that on the bad part of the bat.
First baseman, J.P. Arencibia.
The folks, as you heard Mayor Green talking about, 1994, the year that this ballpark opens, the 20th anniversary of Globe Life Park this year. And to celebrate, the Rangers are offering fans 1994 prices on tickets, select tickets and concessions to next Sunday's game. That's August 24th. The Royals are in town. Plus, every adult 21 and over gets 1 voucher good for a 16-ounce domestic draft beer at the 1994 price of $3.50. Visit TexasRangers.com/rollback and use the coupon code 1994. J.P. Arencibia up there now and takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. Arencibia called out on strikes in the second inning. Got Andrus at second, 2 outs. Rangers trying to get on the scoreboard. Trailing 2-0. JP had a fastball to work with and fouled it back to the screen. A ball and a strike. Arencibia, since the All-Star break, and he was leading in both home runs and RBI for a while. He's fallen back to 3rd in Major League Baseball with 23 RBI since the break. He's now tied for 4th with 7 home runs in the 24 games since the Midsummer Classic. In the air, left center field is hanging up for Calgill. And that will do it. So the leadoff walk and stolen base by Elvis goes for naught. Rangers drawn in the 4th. On to inning number 5. We go. Angels 2, Rangers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. To watch Chevy Hometown Kids every Saturday morning. It's on at 10 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Southwest, where it's not about the score, it's about the experience. The sky is beginning to lighten up over Globe Life Park. The experience improving for the young Ranger fans, especially. They're going to see their hometown ball club get some runs on the scoreboard. It's 2-0 Angels as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Mike Trout to lead things off, and Nick Tepesch goes to work with strike 1.
But we've been talking about high ball, low ball with Mike Trout, and that this graphic pretty much shows exactly what we're talking about. You look at the bottom of the strike zone, especially down and in. It's close to 400 down and in. You look at the top of the strike zone, and the highest he hits is 129. You add up all the top part of the strike zone, and it's probably about 055, which is why you've seen the Ranger pitchers trying to pound the top of the strike zone. Got a base hit there. It might not have been quite as high as he wanted, but didn't hit it all that well. Got jammed a little bit. And we look at that grid, and you have to think as a pitcher, if you throw the ball down low, the only way you could possibly do it is you've made a mistake. You can't intentionally throw him a low pitch to hit. I don't know that any graphic for a hitter is more dramatic than it is with Trout. That one's probably in the center. You can see he's a 429 hitter in the middle of the plate, but if you get it in, even in the middle of the plate, you get it in, he's still a 127 hitter. So above the waist and on the inner part of the strike zone, you got a pretty good chance to get him out.
They'll try with that base hit. Leading off here in the 5th inning, Albert Pujols 0 for 1. A walk and a ground ball to short. You have to be careful with Trout, too. He, with his speed, boy, he can really motor. He's 12 for 12 in stolen bases this year.
He's probably got to be itching to run as little as he's been on base in this year. There you go.
Got him picked off.
Nice, JP.
Running back and make the tag. Well done. Tepesch to Arancibia to Odor.
It's a great play by JP on that rundown. You want to make it to where you make one throw on a rundown, especially with a guy as fast as Trout. You see JP gets to the inside. One throw, it doesn't matter how fast you are. If you get him close enough to the guy next to you or ahead of you and just deliver that ball, you've got him down. You make that runner make a commitment going one way or the other. You don't want him going sideways or, jogging back and forth. One throw should do it.
Well, that removes the leadoff base runner. 1 out, and Pujols takes a strike.
Even at the big league level, Max, so many times you see a fielder who can't wait to get rid of the ball. Boy, it's like it's burning a hole in his hand. He has to throw it so quick.
Yeah, and that's not what you want. You've got to stay under control. You want that runner to panic. You don't want to be the one panicking. You're in control, so you see it happen way too often.
Pujols, a little pop-up off the fist. That is out number 2 as Arancibia takes care of it.
You talk about hanging on to it. So many first basemen right now would throw it right now.
Yep.
And then you got to hustle to get a guy like Trout.
And you look at that, just one throw, the guy you throw it to, second baseman or shortstop, can run him down no matter how fast they are.
Well, you see that come into play a lot is when the batter has hit the ball and you get a lead runner in a rundown. And you take 2 or 3 throws to get him, and you let the batter get all the way to second base, take that extra base. How many big league players don't grow up playing hot box or pickle, whatever you want to call it? And you would think after all the practice you get as a kid, you'd know how to do that.
Love that game.
Do you like being the fielder or like to be in the middle in the pickle?
When I was a kid, I liked being the fielder. But when I was in the big leagues, I love being the guy in the middle because there's so many guys that don't understand how it's supposed to be run and they forget. And then especially pitchers, if the ball's hit back to the pitcher, I would just stand there and wait for the pitcher to run right at me. And most pitchers, not you, Buzz, but most pitchers aren't that coordinated once they leave the mound.
Well, you're right. You're like a fish out of water. Well, it turns into a 9-pitch inning as Nick Tepesch, where the pickoff works around the base hit. We played half the ball game. Angels 2, Rangers nothing. is giving your child a chance to take pitcher Martin Perez to school. Log on to MetroPCSTakeAPlayer.com for your chance to win in Metro PCS Wireless for All. Adam Rosales leading off for the Rangers here in the 5th inning, and a 2-0 Angel lead. And Rosales takes strike one from Hector Santiago. Adam, a foul out to the catcher, Hank Conger, his first time up. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rosales at 298. Trying to get aboard to start this Ranger 5th off. Rangers have had the leadoff man aboard each of the last 2 innings, but not been able to punch him across. 2-1. Santiago back to the plate. 3 balls and a strike. Rosales hitting 6th in the order. He followed by the possessor of the only hit today for the Rangers. That's Giovanni Soto. The 3-1. A full count. Rangers trying to snap a 4-game losing streak overall, and of course that 9-game losing streak to the Angels. A foul ball. Rangers this year against the Angels 0-6 here at home. That's completely contrary to what the Rangers have done the last 5 years against the Angels, but it's an indicator of how tough this year's been. Another 3-2 to left center field. That's going to fall for a base hit. And again, the Rangers have their leadoff man aboard. Their second hit of the afternoon. Rosales is aboard.
Trying to take advantage of a leadoff man getting on base.
Giovanni Soto up there, taking strike one. Soto had the Angels put the shift on against him with nobody on, leading off the 3rd inning, and Giovanni said, "Thank you, I'll take care of that." He just hit a little ground ball right where the second baseman normally is, and is in this case with Howie Kendrick at his normal position. Strike 2 here. Giovanni just grounded one right through that vacated right side of the infield. And the Angels said, "Now, we've got a runner on first. We're not going to do that again. So we'll play it more normal." 0-2 pitch coming from Santiago. Almost threw that to the backstop. 1-2. Left-hander okays the sign. And Soto skies one down the right field line. It's slicing into the corner and foul. Calhoun over there, but the ball bounding out of play. Well, back to first is Rosales, and it's still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Folks down there in the right field corner box. Just inside. Santiago trying to have that comeback fastball and didn't miss by much. 2-2. Conger with the signs, and Santiago says okay. Just inside again. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, with nobody out, we'll see if Ron Washington turns Adam Rosales loose at first base. Soto hitting 7th in the order. Rougned Odor, the second baseman, waits to be next. Rosales staying put. The pitch swung on and missed. A late break, and the throw is wide, and Rosales able to get in under the tag of Kendrick.
Well, Condor had so much time to throw him out, it threw him off. It would have been one of the easiest throwouts in history.
It looked like it surprised him.
Yeah.
I actually thought he was going to stop.
I don't know if that was an intentional delayed steal or not by Rosales. It worked out that way, though.
It was so far off the bag that Kendrick couldn't make the tag, and then he couldn't get at him after he went over the bag.
No, a stolen base for Rosales. He's in scoring position now with 1 out. And Rougned Odor takes the first pitch outside.
You see how far he's out if it's a halfway decent throw. Kendrick left a little early. That ball might have gone right out into right field.
Two and 0.
That's a dive. Not a slide. That is definitely a dive right there.
Odor called out on strikes his first time up. Gets fisted here, and it's a little roller foul down the first base line. 2 balls and a strike. Well, Rook got hit at an even 250 as he faces Santiago here in the 5th inning. Rougned has won for his last 15 times up there. A great time for him to break out of that little malaise. Good look at the from our left field vantage point of our RF camera out there, top of the seats out in left field. You can see the sun trying to break through the now high cloud cover. Some patches of blue out there to the west. Santiago a check of second and fires a strike. Gets 2-2. Adam Rosales led the inning off with a single to left. Swiped second as Soto went down swinging. And there's a base hit to right field. Rosales around third will score. The throw is cut off. The throw to second is in time to get Odor. Well, the run scores, but Rougned Odor cut down, trying to go from first to second. And Ron Washington coming out to...
From up here, it looked like he had a shot at being safe. I thought he was safe. Let's look at it again. Rougned never hesitated. That's going to be close.
And the throw was right on Odor. And there's the tag right there. Well, they're going to go ahead and issue the challenge, but looked like the tag was on the forearm before that foot got in the bag. We'll see. Well, the home plate umpire, Tom Hallion, is the crew chief. And the umpire at second, Chris Guccione, who made the call, will get on headsets and get hooked up to the replay command center in New York. Umpire and crew assigned to this this ball game will take a look at the replay, the various angles.
Yeah, that's close. I don't know, Buzz, that it can be convincing evidence otherwise.
Yeah, and the call on the field is out.
And he's right on top of it. You take a good look at Chris Guccione. He's got his head right in the middle of that play.
Well, the folks in New York taking a long, hard look at this one. And it's going to take clear and convincing evidence to overturn it. And we'll see what the call is. He is out at second base. Odor gets the Rangers on the board, and that call stands, meaning there wasn't clear evidence that it needed to be overturned, but there wasn't clear evidence that it was necessarily the right call.
You know, what makes this play even possible is the fact that Calhoun out in right field hit the cutoff man. A lot of times you'll have that outfielder try and throw that runner out of the plate when he has no chance and overthrow the cutoff man or throw it offline, and the runners just continue to advance and move up and get into scoring position. But Calhoun hit the cutoff man at first, and that's how that play was made.
Well, it makes it a 2-1 Angels lead. Here's Daniel Robertson. Robertson flied to right his first time up. Doing the fundamentals, the little things correctly.
Executing plays that when they present themselves, you make the play.
Robertson pops it up, backpedaling is a shortstop Ibar. He's called off by Colin Cowgill, and he makes the catch. Well, the Rangers' fifth comes to a close. They do get on the board, a run on 2 hits, nobody left. And after 5, 2-1 Angels. Lead in half. It's now 2-1 Los Angeles. Angels coming to bat here in the top of the 6th inning against Nick Tepesch. It would be Eric Ibar, David Freese, and Efren Navarro. Rangers putting together a couple of hits in that bottom of the 5th. Now Nick Tepesch back to the hill, and Tepesch has allowed 6 hits and the 2 runs this afternoon. 4 of those hits put together for the 2 runs in the 2nd. Other than that, Nick has had things pretty well go his way, even though he's walked 3. They still kept the Angels at bay. Ibar showing bunt. That got Rosales coming down the line from third. Takes inside for ball 1. Ibar an infield single and a walk. 1 for 1, and batting average now at .268. And he pops it up. Adam Rosales right on the foul line. And the ball was in fair territory, so he handled it for out number 1.
Third baseman David Freese.
Now, before David Freese comes up, let's take time for a Mazda game break. Once again, here's Aaron Hardigan. All right, Aaron, thank you. The once division leaders of both the Tigers and the A's struggling mightily of late. Freese takes the strike. It is 0-2.
It's amazing how things can change so quickly. You look at both of those clubs, and it seems as though the teams that were chasing them, the Angels and Kansas City, no matter how well they played, they just couldn't gain ground.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, lose 7, 8 in a row.
Odor goes out free. He's 2 gone.
Yeah, you want to win the division too, boy. You don't want to win 95 games and have to play that wild card game to 1 game playoff. That's a tough way to see a 6-month season go down the drain.
Wow.
The Rangers had a little experience with that.
Yeah.
Well, 2 outs here in the 6th. That's 4 straight now sent down by Nick Tepesch, and he'll deal to Efren Navarro, who is 1 for 1. Navarro, RBI single in the 2nd. Last time up, walked. Average at 276. A home run, 10 driven in. Navarro up and down between the Angels and AAA a couple of times this year. Looks at a strike to even the count. And Navarro originally was a 50th round draft selection back in the 2007 draft. 50th. 5-0. It's a make good story. It's a feel good story too. Tap foul, 1 and 2.
That's a round. You pick a guy in the 50th round, you're not really expecting him to become a big league player. I guess you're hoping. Chances are you're trying to fill out one of your minor league teams, maybe the rookie league team. We had Kenny Rogers on the other night. I think he was a 39th round draft, right? So occasionally it happens.
2-2 to Navarro. Now the Angels notes say that Navarro was only the 2nd 50th round draft pick ever to make it to the big leagues for the Angels. The other was Anthony Chavez back in 1992. The 2-2 pitch. We'll try it again. Navarro recalled just about a month ago from AAA for the 2nd time. Tepesch okays the sign and misses outside, 3 and 2. Well, Navarro trying to extend the 6th inning. He'll be followed by the left fielder Colin Cowgill. Payoff pitch. Line drive right at Aaron Sebia. No sign retired in 1-2-3 fashion. First time that Nick Tepesch has done it in order today. We finished 5.5 as the Angels 2 and the Rangers 1. it's time for the Sonic Slam Inning, brought to you by Sonic. Today's jackpot is worth $700 and dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. Today, the Rangers are hitting for Gail Newber from Plano. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam during the inning, Gail Newber from Plano will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. And it's the top of the order here in the Rangers 6. The Halos leading 2-1. They have doubled the Ranger hit total, 6-3. Shin-Soo Choo 0 for 2. He takes a big breaking ball that dips in for strike one. Shin-Soo a ground ball to first, and last time up he was called out on strikes. 1 ball and 1 strike. Choo got off to such a great start this year, hitting against left-handed pitching. That's the left field, and Dalgill coming on makes the catch for out number 1. I was going to say, Shin-Soo has fallen on hard times even against left-handers of late. 152. Now let's check in with Jim Knox again. Jim.
All right, Buzz, before the game today in the rain, the Fox Sports Fan Express rolled in for the big town of Tyler, Texas. On board, of course, plenty of big-time Ranger fans. Now, Tarek, how many times was this on the bus for you coming from Tyler?
This is my 10th bus trip over the last 3-year period.
Wow, you love the Rangers that much,
I sure do. I just gets better every year.
Better every year. There we go. I appreciate it. And I know you guys had a little rocky ride on the way up because of the weather, but looked smooth sailing on the way back.
Absolutely. We didn't think it'd clear up like this on the way over here. It was just a downpour, so it's nice to see that didn't get rained out.
All right, we'll let you root the Rangers on. A little comeback win right here. Appreciate it, guys. Enjoy the rest of the game.
All right, Doxy, thank you. Elvis Andrus takes high outside. It's 2 balls and a strike. Elvis today has walked and grounded to second. 0 for 1 officially. 271 the average for the Ranger shortstop. Santiago into the wind, the 2-1 pitch. Right center field, that's going to be down for a hit. Over to cut it off is Calhoun. And Elvis increases his hitting streak to 6 in a row. He is aboard with a 1-out single for Alex Rios.
Right fielder, Alex Rios.
The 4th hit of the afternoon for the Rangers. Elvis, that inside-out stroke that he employs so effectively.
You know, that's when he's at his best, when he's taking the ball the other way, right center field, right field, and not trying to pull it. And if he keeps that swing, if he gets an off-speed pitch, that's when he's going to pull it. Something inside, something off-speed, and that's exactly the way it's supposed to be.
Double play ground ball. Kendrick and Ibar turn it over, and that'll do it for the Rangers. So just like that, the 1-out single is negated. The 4-6-3 double play. The Rangers are gone. 2-1 Angels. Jack, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll see you after the ballgame. All right. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event, now playing at a Ford dealer near you. And our Ford game summary of the afternoon. Eagles doing all their damage in the second inning. 4 hits in succession. Got 2 on the board. Rangers came back with 1 in the 5th. Pretty good pitching matchup today. Tepesh and Santiago going at each other, and they've only allowed 10 total hits between them.
Now, we're talking about Nick coming into the game. He'd had 3 solid outings in a row, trying to be consistent, back those 3 up with another one, and he's done that.
Yep.
The inning where they got the 2 runs. Easy out to right field. The inning that they got the 2 runs, 2 of the hits were little dribblers in the infield, and one of the other 2 hits was a little blooper to the outfield. So it's not like they lit them up for 2 runs. They just were fortunate to bunch those 4 hits together to get the 2 runs. But Nick now in the 7th inning with a good pitch count. He's only thrown 80 pitches. Pitched 7 innings in his last start. Hasn't had a high pitch inning yet. Listen to Mike Maddox talk about him before the game, talking about the consistency, learning how to pitch in the big leagues, become comfortable in the big leagues. Starting to get some pretty good results, consistent results, just what Mike's looking for.
He sure is. Hank Conger at the plate now has popped out a couple of times. And he skies one to center field. Andy Robertson coming in a couple of steps, waiting for it. That is out number 2. 2 harmless fly balls here to start off the 7th inning. 2 outs, bases empty for the top of the order in Cole Calhoun. The Angels got their leadoff man aboard in the 4th and 5th innings, and Nick Tepesh able to work around that. Matter of fact, the Angels had runners at 1st and 2nd, or 1st and 3rd, I should say, with nobody out in the 4th inning. And Tepesh able to work around it. Got a pop out and then a line drive double play. And Calhoun was the man who lined into that double play. He hit a bullet right back at Tepesh, who picked it off near his knee and flipped on over to first for the double play. Well, Calhoun 0 for 3 today. And our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery. Here's the one we're talking about. Tepesh, cat-like reaction. His freaky fast, that ball coming back at him. Nick Berry calmly turned it into 2, courtesy of Jimmy John's. Well, Calhoun, after an 0 for 3 so far, is a .293 hitter. He takes a breaking ball that nudges the inside corner for a strike. Kevin Jepson, hard-throwing right-hander, loosening in the Angel bullpen, so it's possible. We have seen the last of Hector Santiago. Tepesh winds the 1-1 pitch. Just a little bit high. 2-1 the count. Calhoun, remember, had that 3-hit night in the opening game of the series. Had a 2-hit night last night. 7-game hitting streak. He tops one right down the first baseline, and it's foul. Sebia fielding it. It would have been a very easy play for JP, but we're going to have to come back and try it again at 2-2. Sean Tyleson loosening in the Ranger bullpen. Calhoun back in there. Soto flashing the signs out. Slowly hit out toward Odor. He's charging. Underhands to first, and that will do it. So another excellent job by Nick Tepesh. 9-pitch inning. 3 up, 3 down. Stretch time at the ballpark. 2-1 Angels. And now please join Chuck Morgan as he introduces God Bless America.
Armed services both at home and around the world. Today we invite you to join in singing God Bless America. with Tech Sergeant Shonda Winkler.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
The new pitcher. How about taking a look at our fan photo selection of the day, courtesy of AT&T. This comes from Mary. Appreciate that, Mary. Thank you, and thanks to all of you who have sent yours in. You want to tweet your photo? It's hashtag Southwest Fan Photo. We'll make a selection for each ball game that we have on Fox Sports Southwest this year. 2-1 Angels. Bottom of the seventh inning, Rangers come to bat. They will face Kevin Jepson, who is on for the second time in this series.
Yeah, Jepson's having an excellent season. This will be his 60th ball game. 6 of the 7 earned runs he's allowed since April 1st have come against the Rangers. Well, since April 1st, he's been pitching great. He must have gotten bombed in one of his first outings of the year before April 1st. Since that time, he's only given up 7 earned runs.
Now facing Adrian Beltre, who pounds one to left field. Cowgill toward the line and makes the catch. Well, that had a little sink to it, and it enabled Cowgill to get it just before he got to the warning track. Well, Beltre hit a bullet. He's over that at bat.
Well, I thought there was going to be better results when you saw the swing and the ball come off the bat. Turned out it was a pretty easy play for Cowgill out there.
No, J.P. Arancibia, the scheduled hitter, has been called back, and Mike Karp come up there batting from the left side against Kevin Jepson. Now, Karp, we saw as a pinch hitter in yesterday's game also. He takes strike one from Jepson. Karp came on to pinch hit in the 8th inning of yesterday's game. That was against Joe Smith, and flied out. Mike got the start on Friday night with 1 for 4 in that ball game with an RBI single. He takes the next pitch a little bit low. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 pitch. Hard hit, but right at Navarro, the first baseman. Oh, a couple of line drives in the inning. Rangers have nothing to show for it. 2 away for Adam Rosales. And let's take time for a Mazda game break. Once again, here's Aaron Hardigan. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. Here's Adam Rosales, who is 1 for 2. Had a single. He has scored the only Ranger run so far. That came back in the 5th inning. That's out of play. Back behind home plate. No balls and a strike. Well, Rosales, a .313 average. Facing Jepson. Right-hander ready to work. Rosales waiting. 1-1. Rosales 1 for 1 against Jepson in his career. .30-year-old right-hander back to the plate. And the off-speed pitch. On the outside corner, it's 1-2. Crowd of just under 29,000, 28,942 on hand this afternoon. It's been, for the most part, a very comfortable afternoon. Well-pitched ball game today. 2-2 to Rosales. Rangers trying to come back and salvage the final game of this 3-game series before they have an off day tomorrow. It's on down to Miami to face the Marlins in Marlins Park for the first time. Play Tuesday night down in Miami and Wednesday afternoon. Then come back here for a very brief 3-game homestand with the Kansas City Royals. 2-2 pitch. He's charging on the run. He throws and it gets by Navarro off the facing of the seats and down to second. Goes Adam Rosales. So the Rangers have the tying run now in scoring position. An error by David Freese.
It looked like, well, it was a high throw for sure. And it looked like Navarro tried to catch it in the tip of his glove and keep his foot on the bag to get the out. And he wasn't able to do that. Freese fields it on the run. Got a pretty easy play on the run, but the ball sails on him. Navarro goes off the top of his glove while he's trying to keep his foot on the bag. I think if he jumped, he could have caught it, but then Adam might have been safe at first base. He was trying to accomplish the out and keep his foot on the bag. He couldn't quite do it.
Yep. No, let's see if the Rangers can capitalize. And with Rosales at second, here's Giovanni Soto, who is 1 for 2.
I think almost every game that the Angels have beaten the Rangers, John McDonald has come in as a defensive replacement late in the game for David Freese. So Freese is swinging the bat really well right now, but evidently the kind of guy that Mike Scioscia feels more comfortable replacing late in the game with John McDonald.
Giovanni fouls that pitch back. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Angels overall a pretty solid defensive club. They're 4th in the American League. That's just their 63rd error. Scioscia's club, anytime you get a team that has pretty good pitching, you can bet that their defense has been pretty good. Rosales out at second in a 2-1 ball game. Conger bluffing a throw to second. Nobody was there except for Rosales. 2 balls and a strike. Chuck Morgan trying to get the fans to get behind Giovanni Soto and the Rangers. Jepson ready. A check of Rosales at second. Jepson able to drop that breaking ball in to make it 2-2. Soto 0 for 1 in his career against Kevin Jepson. Two-two pitch. The count is full. And Soto is able to extend this inning. Then Odor, the number 8 man, waits to be next. Jepson, a long look into Hank Conger. Right-hander nods in agreement. A high set. To right field. It is falling in a hurry and foul. Well, a broken bat looper. Looked good for a moment in the air, but had a little too much tail to it. Giovanni Soto having to get a new piece of lumber, and he'll go back up there with a 3-2 count again. Rosales back to second. Soto doctoring the handle of that bat up with the stickum, and he's ready to step in there. Jepson studying the signs. Now he is ready. Another 3-2 pitch. Call strike 3. 96 on the outside corner. Soto caught looking, and the Rangers are gone in the 7th. No runs, no hits, an error. One man left. On to the 8th we go. The Angels 2 and the Rangers 1.
Park Buzz and Tom, time for the progressive fan of the game. It has to be Philip Marburger, because this is game number what consecutively?
501, even though I haven't gotten a sponsorship deal from Levi's yet.
Oh, okay. 501. Well, congratulations. Out of 501 games, what's been your most memorable one here on Front Row?
One of the very first, it was when Marlon Byrd hit a walk-off grand slam against the Yankees.
There you go. All right. Well, congratulations, Philip. There's a shirt. Enjoy 500 more, hopefully, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. There you go. Appreciate it. Philip?
501. That's pretty impressive. Fan of the game, fan of the week, fan of the year. No, Nick Tepesch back out to the hill to start the 8th inning. It'll be Mike Trout leading off. Pujols and Kendrick to follow. And Trout takes low and outside. Nick Tepesch worked 7 innings last time out against Tampa Bay, and his career high and his high for this year also 7 1/3 innings. Came back on June 27th against the Twins. High and tight to Trout. 2 balls, no strikes. Mike Trout, a base hit his last time up. Snapped an 0 for 18. Single to left field. Average currently at 289. And that pitch high, 3 balls and no strikes. Trout, after that base hit, was picked off first base by Tepesch. Nick, a little walk down the back slope of the mound and wanders around a little bit, gets back up there on top. 3-0 pitch. High and tight, ball 4. Well, that not really close on any of them to Mike Trout. A leadoff walk. And that might be a signal. And Ron Washington is coming out to the mound. So that might do it for Nick Tepesch. 91 pitches for the right-hander. Kind of a warm, humid afternoon. Might have sapped him a little bit. At the fourth walk issued by Nick Tepesch. The first one since the 4th inning. And the skipper out there to ask the natural question, how you feeling? And Tepesch said, I'm great. Now it's up to the skipper. And no, don't think we want to take a chance on that. Well, we're going to go to the bullpen. Sean Tollefson had been loosening. He is still throwing out there, and he is going to be summoned as Nick Tepesch goes 7 innings plus 1 hitter here in the 8th. He departs with Trout at first base, his responsibility. The Angels leading 2-1. And Sean Tollefson will be the new pitcher. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back and tell you about Tollefson right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. AT&T U-verse Rewind. Nick Tepesch, a good afternoon. The only time he had a prop was in the 2nd inning. Angels put together 4 hits for the 2 runs. A pretty fancy glove work by Tepesch himself. He gets the strikeout of Kendrick and goes 7 innings plus 1 hitter in the 8th inning before skipper Ron Washington calls the bullpen for help. Nice afternoon by Tepesch. He gives way to Sean Tollefson.
Another solid outing for Nick. Sean will be appearing in his 50th ball game. Good solid numbers for Sean too. He's going to have to pitch to a tough part of the lineup with Pujols, Kendrick, and Ibar, the next 3 hitters.
Tollefson worked here on Friday night, inning with a couple of hits, gave up 1 run to the Angels, and he fires to Pujols for strike 1. Look at our Ford leaderboard. Angels bullpen in August, 3rd in strikeouts, 5th in opponents' batting average, and 8th in ERA. Significant improvements from what it had been. Rangers still last overall in pitching in the American League. 0-1 to Pujols. Trout the lead from first. And now time called. .270 the season average for Albert Pujols. 23 home runs, 74 driven in. There goes Trout. The pitch is hit to left field. That sends Stew back. Still going back. It is off the wall. Trout had to stop at second. He's going to be held at third now, as Pujols in with a double. Trout kind of stopping at the bag at second base. He apparently thought Stew was going to catch it, and it wasn't until the ball ricocheted straight down off the fence that he understood that the ball was not going to be caught.
You can see Trout didn't know where the ball was. Odor acted like he's going to turn a double play, and Trout slides into second base. That's pretty good deke right there.
No, it saves the Rangers a run. But at second and third now, nobody out. The Rangers pulling the infield all the way in with Howie Kendrick up there. Tollison's first pitch is outside for ball one. Everybody at the cut of the grass, straight away against Kendrick, who is 0 for 3 today. He's flied out a couple of times to right and struck out. That strikeout is exactly what Sean Tollison is looking for here. And time called. Giovanni Soto asked for time there. They're going to go ahead and put Kendrick on to load the bases. So the move, not necessarily one that you really wanted to do, but you have to, basically. You got Ibar, a lesser hitter in the on-deck circle. Your chances of getting Kendrick to either strike out or pop up are not real good. At least loading the bases with nobody out, you give yourself a chance for a force at any base. And the fourth wide one. The intentional walk puts Kendrick at first, loads him up. Ibar, 1 for 2 today, will step to the plate. Giovanni Soto out there to talk to Sean Tollison, going over what they had done today with Ibar, what his observations were, if anything about the scouting report that Sean Tollison had in mind would have changed for Ibar. Ibar had a little dribbler in the infield for a base hit back in the second inning. He walked in the third and popped out to third in the sixth inning.
Yeah, the little dribbler was the leadoff hitter of the second inning. That was their 2-run inning.
Dollison's first pitch to him is in at the knees for strike one. You got Trout at third, Pujols at second, Howie Kendrick at first. John Tollison trying to escape a difficult spot here in the eighth inning. 0-2. Way out in front of that big breaking ball from Tollison. And now John in a position where he can go for the strikeout. Ibar hitting out of an open stance as Tollison looks in for the sign. The 0-2 pitch. Got him swinging.
Oh, that's some nice pitching right there. 3 pitches. See you later. Ibar's a tough guy to strike out, too. He's only struck out 46 times. He's been up 400, almost 460 times. He's one of the tougher guys in the league to strike out. Might have been a little over anxious with the bases loaded, nobody out. Anxious to the point where he chased a couple of breaking balls a little bit out of the strike zone. Now he can turn a double play and get out of this jam.
Well, the Rangers with that possibility now have the infield, the middle of the infield back at double play depth. David Freese, the hitter. And he takes strike one. No high fastball. Freese has singled in 3 trips. A couple of career grand slams for the Angel third baseman. Tollison trying to keep this at a 2-1 lead for the Angels. The 0-1. Freese just able to lay off that breaking ball. And boy, Tollison's brought a great one with him today. Neil Kotz loosening in the Ranger bullpen. We've got a left-handed hitting Efren Navarro in the on-deck circle. But first, it's Tollison trying to deal with David Freese. Ball 2 is a little low. Freese has grounded out the other 2 times. That little looping single to right. Back in the second. Bases full of Angels here in the 8th inning. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. And again, Shawn Tollison has put himself in a position where he can go for a strikeout. Keep the ball from being put in play with the bases full. Shawn reading the signs. Giovanni Soto flashing them out, and Tollison is ready. The 2-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Oh, there was some great pitching by Shawn Tollison, striking out Ibar and Freese with the bases full. And now with 2 outs, we'll see what the skipper, Ron Washington, does. You've got the left-hander, Navarro, coming up. And Kotz is ready in the bullpen if you decide to go that way. On the bench, from the right side for the Angels, you have McDonald and Iannetta. Well, the skipper out there to have a chat. I guess the question becomes, do you want to have Navarro face Tollison, or do you want to have probably a pinch hitter, Iannetta most likely, face Kotz? And we'll get the answer to that in just a second. So Neil Kotz coming on. Outstanding job by Shawn Tollison after giving up the double and the intentional walk. He gets a pair of strikeouts. He leaves with the bases full and 2 away. Neil Kotz coming on. We'll take a timeout. Back after this. Well, fans, one of the year's most unique giveaways occurs on Tuesday, September 23rd. Astros are in town to play the Rangers in a 7:05 game, and the first 15,000 fans attending that game will receive a Rangers Garden Gnome, courtesy of Coca-Cola. Be sure to get your tickets for this collectible item and a great ball game on the 23rd of September. TexasRangers.com is the place.
Well, it will be Neil Kotz, and he will face Navarro, the left-hand hitter. 58th game for Neil, 3.57 ERA. Mike Scioscia electing to stick with his left-hand hitter. And Neil Kotz coming in trying to get him to get out of what would have been a major jam. Bases loaded, nobody out. Shawn got Ibar and Freeze on strikes, and now it's up to Neal to finish it off right here and keep it a 2-1 game.
First pitch to Navarro is in for strike one. Navarro, an RBI single in the second, a walk in the fourth, and a line out to first in the sixth. 273 the average. He has Trout, Pujols, and Kendrick, third, second, and first. Going after that high pitch. Couldn't make contact. Cox hung that pitch so high that Navarro had no chance. 0-2. You can come back and make a real good pitch down the lane and get the strikeout and see you later. Scott studying a series of signs from Giovanni Soto. The 0-2 pitch. Fouled out of play. Navarro 0 for 1. Against Cox in a couple of at-bats. Neal walked him one time. Cox with an 0-2 advantage. Trying to put him away and put out this fire in the 8th inning. Check swing. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Tylerson and Cox get 3 consecutive strikeouts with the bases loaded. The Angel threat is doused in the 8th inning. 3 left. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. 2-1 Angels on Fox Sports Southwest.
Rangers 2-1 entering the bottom of the 8th. Rougned Odor due up for the Rangers and looking for a rally to salvage a win in this 3-game set. Don't forget, after the game, it's Rangers Live post-game edition presented by Esurance. Mark McLemore will join me, Aaron Hardigan, at the desk to assess this series and take from it what we need looking ahead to that series with the Marlins. We'll also hear from the skipper, Ron Washington, and Emily Jones will, as always, work the clubhouse for player reaction. It's all coming up after the game on Rangers Live, guys.
All right, Aaron, thank you. Now, Joe Smith on for his 3rd consecutive game in this series, and he will face the bottom of the Ranger order.
Good numbers, too. 188 opponent's batting average. He's only given up 39 hits in 58 innings. And he's got a strikeout plan, 59 strikeouts. He has been a solid late inning bullpen guy for Mike Scioscia. John McDonald, as usual, checks in at third base late in the ball game.
1-0, the count to Odor. Chops one foul off of his front foot. And the count evens now at a ball and a strike. Rudnett, the RBI single in the 5th inning, driving home what to this point is the only Ranger run of the afternoon. Rudnett is 27th RBI. One for 2 today, and that batting average now at .253 as he faces Smith, leading off the bottom of the 8th inning. Breaking ball that just hung off the outside corner. 2-1. Smith, a late inning reliever for the last several years with the Indians, coming over here in an effort by the Angels to really fortify their bullpen. He was their closer, as Tom told me, up until the time they got Houston Street. Actually, Smith took over for Ernesto Frieri after Frieri kind of spit the bit. 2-2. Pulled on the ground, and right there as Kendrick was down to a knee and needed to make sure that ball didn't get by him. One gone. Oh, Daniel Robertson, the schedule hitter, pulled back, and Leonys Martin sent up there by the skipper to face Joe Smith. Leonys Martin coming up as a pinch hitter, .262 the average. That has rocketed in the last several ball games. Leonys with a 5-game hitting streak that's seen him go 10 for 20. And a strike from Smith. That batting average has come up 13 points in the last 5 ball games. And for this time of year, that's been a lot of great swinging to the bat. Pitch outside, a check swing, and it's 1-1. On the homestand, Martin 10 for 23. Smith with a 1-1 pitch. Just did get the outside corner. A ball and 2 strikes.
Wasn't even close.
Up the middle, Kendrick able to pick it off the dirt in the air. Yeah, that ball was really in on the fists of Leonys Martin, and Kendrick able to make the grab. That's out number 2.
That's a good combination of back-to-back pitches by Smith. The ball that looked like was a little outside that would call a strike, tailed away from him significantly, and this one cut in on him. So one outside tailing away and one inside tailing in.
I think Joe Smith has used that combination against a left-hander before.
Probably used it, yep. And for, you know, a guy throws from that angle, it's a little bit easy for a left-hand hitter to see. That's one of the things that you do to counteract that. Sometimes advantage for a left-hand hitter.
Shin-Soo Choo takes the first pitch low for ball 1. Choo 0 for 3. Smith back to the plate. This is high and away. Ranger bullpen getting loose out there. Choo swing through a 2-0 pitch. Now 2-1. Shin-Soo asking Tom Hallion if that pitch was high. That's outside. 3 balls and a strike. Choo trying to get aboard to put the tying run on base. Elvis Andrus, the shortstop, waits to be next. Smith with a 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. And walking. The Rangers have the opportunity again, and 3 games, all 3 games this series. Now the Rangers have had the tying run or the go-ahead run in scoring position late. The 7th, 8th, or 9th, and just haven't been able to punch them across yet. Maybe this Sunday afternoon will prove to be different. And in as a pinch runner now, Jim Adduci. Of course, with very good speed, he will take over on the base pass for Shin-Soo Choo. Elvis 1 for 2. Singled his last time up. Andrews now at 273 with his average. Mike Scioscia, his vantage point at the top step of that. Adduci just able to get back in front of the tag by Navarro. Throws down on the bag, he's out.
Yeah, he would have been. He made a perfect throw.
Adduci carrying that tying run over at first base. Smith with a pitch to Elvis, and he gets an inside strike. 0-1. Andrus 1 for 9 against Joe Smith. Does have 3 walks.
Man. Must have moved that strike zone.
Generous. Two outs, 1 on. There goes Adduci. The pitch is inside. The throw is late. Adduci able to swipe second and stay on the bag. A good jump by Adduci. He kicked in the afterburners about halfway there. Second stolen base for Jim.
Slid over the bag, but I don't think at any point in time anything was off the bag. There was always something on the bag, I guess I should say.
Well, the tying run in scoring position now. 1 ball and 1 strike to Elvis Andrus.
You can see the thing that Jim wears on his left hand to protect himself.
It's that protecting that finger, the little finger that he broke twice.
Yeah.
2 balls and a strike. That is strike 2.
Was it? Tom Hallion's having a hard time picking up the movement on that sinking fastball from Joe Smith.
And Smith, a little inside move just to make sure Adduci didn't have any designs on headed for third. 2-2 with 2 outs. Rangers trailing by a run here in the 8th inning. Inside, 3-2. See if Elvis can get aboard with 2 outs. If he keeps the inning alive, Alex Rios is in the on-deck circle. Now the crowd getting into it, 29,000 strong, and they are making some noise for the Rangers. Payoff pitch. Fouled away. We'll try it again. Smith refusing to go away from the off the plate inside.
Yeah, I keep throwing it in there too.
Yeah.
He hasn't thrown a strike yet. Elvis can't take that pitch though.
Elvis back in the box. Smith back up on top, the pitching rubber. Adduci the lead from second. Smith with another 3-2 pitch. Instead, it's an inside move again. The right-hander okays a sign. Right back to him. Got him on the fist, and Smith on to first. The Ranger threat comes to an end. No runs, no hits. The Walker left stranded. We're going to the 9th inning here at Globe Life Park. It remains the Angels 2 and the Rangers 1.
On for the Rangers as we head to the 9th inning here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. This, of course, closes out a 3-game series between the Rangers and the Halos. After this, it is an off day followed by a trip to South Beach as the Rangers take on Giancarlo Stanton and the Miami Marlins. Of course, Stanton leading the National League in home runs and RBI, and Adrian Beltre doing very well in interleague play. Game 1 of that series on Tuesday, 6 o'clock on Fox Sports Southwest. This all, of course, brought to you by AT&T Uverse, fellas.
All right, Ann, thanks. Should be an interesting 2-game series. First time we've had a chance to see Marlins Park. Neftali Feliz out of the Ranger bullpen to take over here in the 9th inning.
Neffy's throwing the ball pretty well. From outing to outing, you don't know exactly what to expect. There's been some outings where he's had a pretty good fastball, some where his velocity's down a little bit. But in most of his outings, he's been able to throw pitches other than his fastball for strikes to be effective, to get hitters out. And overall, he has been effective.
Well, here in the 9th, he will work to Colin Cowgill, Hank Conger, and Cole Calhoun. To center field, and the new center fielder, Leonis Martin, ambles over to make the grab. One pitch and one away. Houston Street, a fixture at the back end of that Angel bullpen. And the 3rd straight day that Street has come in to try and close out a ball game. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Hank Conger 0 for 3 today. A couple of pop outs and a fly ball to center. Feliz, the 4th pitcher for the Rangers this afternoon. He deals high for ball 1. Tepesch started. Nick went 7+ 1 hitter in the 8th inning. Gave up both runs on 6 hits, 4 walks, and a strikeout. Sean Tollison came in and two-thirds of an inning. Very exciting in 2/3 of an inning. That pitch is whipped foul. Just past the Ranger dugout. Tollison gave up a hit, and then with the bases full and nobody out, struck out the next 2. That brought in Neil Kotz to get the final strikeout in that sequence. Kotz working just a total of 1/3 of an inning. And here's Neffy. Got 1 out and a count of 1 ball and 1 strike to Hank Conger. With a breaking ball, and it was up. Conger swung through it. I guess the question that Feliz is going to have to answer for everybody on the Rangers organization is, can he pitch at the end of the ball game with less than that 97 or 98 mile an hour fastball. Slowly hit on the right side. Underhanding to first with Feliz covering. Mike Carp handles that, and we're down 2 outs. Folks, the Rangers would like for you to spend Labor Day at Globe Life Park and run the Medical Center Arlington Rangers Labor Day race. Proceeds benefit the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation. The race takes place on Monday, September the 1st, and the 5K ends right here on the field at Globe Life Park. For information, visit texasrangers.com/race. No 2 outs, now the top of the Angel order. Cole Calhoun, who is 0 for 4. Calhoun, an RBI on a ground out. First ball swinging, pops one up. He was slicing into the crowd. We'll take a look, Elvis and Adam Rosales. It's about 5 rows deep. Calhoun with the average currently at 292. 40 RBI. Feliz waiting for the Rangers to get back in position defensively. Ready for the 0-1 pitch.
I'll tell you one thing, throw it on the other side of the plate. Throw it 6 inches outside. That pitch has been a strike.
The 1-1. That one's outside. 2-1. And Houston Street getting ready. He will face the heart of the Ranger order in the bottom of the ninth. Rios, Beltre, and Cart. Neftali Feliz trying to make sure it's just a 1-run game at that point. 2-1 the count. And a fly ball lazily lifted to left field. Coming on, Jim Adduci, sunglasses gleaming. And that will do it. So Neftali Feliz has a 1-2-3 ninth. Rangers now coming to bat in the bottom of the ninth inning, trailing by a 2-1 score. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. By AT&T UVerse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world. And by your Texas Ford dealer. The Ford Summer Spectacular Sales Event now playing at a Ford dealer near you. Now 2-1 Angels. The Angels have out hit the Rangers 7-4. And the third consecutive day, Houston Street, the native Texan, is on to try and close it out.
Well, Street has been 9 for 9 in save opportunities with the Angels. He has not given up an earned run. He saved the first 2 games of this series, trying to make it 3. Rangers have pitched well today. Rangers have not hit the ball all that hard, especially the inning they scored their 2 runs. But the Rangers haven't either. They've got to pick up something here in the 9th inning. Keep from being swept by the Angels.
Now, Street faced the numbers 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the Rangers in the first 2 games that he came in. Today, a little bit different. He's got 3, 4, and 5 facing him. Alex Rios to start it off. Rios 0 for 3. A fly ball, a ground ball double play, and a strikeout. Takes that first pitch low and outside for ball 1. Rios is 2 for 7 in his career against Houston Street. Also has a walk mixed in there. Street doing a little groundskeeping work as he ponders his next pitch. Base hit to left field. Well, Alex Rios made Street pay, got a pitch up. And Rios bangs it into left. The Rangers have the tying run aboard with nobody out, and Adrian Beltre coming up.
Street got that pitch a little bit in. And Alex was ready for it. Alex had that ball and shot back through the middle on the line last night. Fine shot here to left field. So the ball tailing back in, probably a little bit inside.
Pretty solid contact on that one.
Yep.
Now here's Beltre, who, like Rios, is 0 for 3. Beltre, 3 for 14 in his previous matchups against Houston Street. One of those 3 hits, a double. Season average of .317. He is the team leader with 17 home runs, 64 runs driven in, and he represents the winning run here in the bottom of the 9th. Breaking ball to the outside corner from Street. It is 0-1. Cox, Colby Lewis, and company looking on. Nick Tepesch there between them. Yu Darvish. This pitch is low. 1 ball and 1 strike to Adrian. Beltre still leading the American League coming into play today with a .360 home batting average. Been a while since the Rangers have had a walk-off home run from Adrian. Remember last year, Rangers doing it to Ernesto Frieri with regularity. Let's see if they can do it with the new Angels closer, Houston Street. 1-1 the count. In the dirt, Conger able to keep it from going to the backstop. It's 2-1. Rios a leadoff single, anchored there at first. That's Martin, Elvis Andrews, Sue Chu and company. Out at the whale of the Ranger dugout. Hoping for something good to happen. Nice Sunday afternoon. You like to cap it off with a walk-off victory. The 2-1 pitch instead is a throw to first. Well, as you mentioned, Rios, one of the Rangers that really run wild over the last 2 years against these Angels. Now Street stepping off the back of the pitching rubber. Mike Scioscia is always throwing some signs out to the catcher, Hank Conger. Street nods in agreement. The right-hander is ready. Another toss to first. Houston Street. A little stall tactic.
Trying to figure out what he wants to throw Beltre. In the meantime, he doesn't want Rios to steal second base.
Adrian back in the box, getting out of that slightly closed stance. Now Street again sets. There goes Rios. The pitch is grounded, base hit to left field. Rios stopped at second. He didn't pick the ball up very quickly, but the Rangers have the tying and winning runs aboard with nobody out here in the ninth inning. As Beltre singles through the hole.
Now, if Alex was able to pick that ball up, and he was stealing second base, that wasn't a hit and run. And so he had his head down, concentrating on stealing the base. Therefore, he didn't see the ball off the bat. By the time he picks it up right here, it's too late to go. He can't risk going to third base. Had he been able to take a little bit of a look in, which sometimes base stealers do, but not all the time, and saw the ball off the bat, then he probably could have gotten to third base.
Well, here's Mike Carp with his second at-bat of the afternoon. He came on as a pinch hitter in the seventh. Angels expecting bunt. They get no bunt from Carp. It's a base hit to right center. Rios around third will come in to tie the ball game. On to third goes Beltre. Mike Carp delivers. The Rangers have caught the Angels at 2.
The Rangers have rallied nicely in the first 2 games of this series and come up 1 run short. They're rallying in this ball game, and they've got a tie and a pretty good chance to score that go-ahead run right here. Down and in, down for sure. He golfed that thing off the end of the bat into right center field. All right, golf shot. Worked pretty good, though.
Yep. Well, Mike Scioscia out there now with the entire Angel infield gathered around, along with the battery of Houston Street and Hank Conger. See what they do here. Adam Rosales is the hitter. He's got Carp at first, and Adrian Beltre over at third, carrying the winning run. Adrian, 3 consecutive singles reading Houston Street here in the ninth inning. Nobody out. Rangers looking for a W.
Rangers have gone to that 5-man infield. Only 2 outfielders. They're playing way in the outfield. For the most part, if you hit a solid ball to the outfield, you've got the winning run. A little tougher to ground the ball through the infield with all those infielders. Pretty easy to bloop one over their head.
Cole Calhoun, the right fielder, has come in to play midway between first and second. And Rosales going after that first Houston Street offering, fouls it back. It is 0-1. Rosales a base hit in 3 trips today. And Adam has not faced Houston Street before. First and third, nobody out. A tie ball game in the bottom of the ninth inning. Beltre the lead from third. Carp away from first. The 0-1 pitch, a pitch out, nothing happening. Scioscia trying to think along with Ron Washington. See a squeeze going on. The Ranger skipper has used that squeeze liberally in the past. I don't know about with Adam Rosales.
Yeah, maybe not with no outs. I think Adam's a contact hitter. And put the ball in play and put this game, end this ball game.
Fly ball to left field. That's going to win it. It's in for a hit. Beltre will score, and the Rangers walk it off with 2 in the ninth. Adam Rosales, a game-winner mob between first and second. As the Rangers defeat Houston Street and the Angels 3-2.
Well, the Rangers deserve that one. They played some good baseball in these 3 games against the Angels. They came up short the first 2 games. But they didn't quit. They came right back. Houston Street still doesn't have it out.
Adam Rosales with his first walk-off hit of his career. He's had a year of firsts with the Rangers of late. It's going to be a great feeling for Adam and for the Rangers to defeat the Angels, but get to Houston Street, who had been 9 for 9 in save opportunities for the Los Angeles Angels since joining them. And here is that last hit.
He gets a hanger right down the middle of the plate. He did it well. Doesn't matter whether the outfielder caught that ball or not. Game's over whether he catches it or not.
Well, Rosales with the RBI, his 12th run driven in this year. A game winner here this afternoon. Nobody happier in the stadium than Adam Rosales.
I love that one.
Teammates mobbing him out there between first and second base. A great feeling, makes a winner out of Nefi Feliz in relief. Rangers get the W here this afternoon as Adrian Beltre trots down from third with the winner. And the skipper, yeah. That's what we're looking for right there.
You know, whether you're 10 games in first place or 10 games in last place, you win a game like that, everybody's happy.
Yes, sir. Handshakes, pats all around for everybody. Let's go down to the field. Emily Jones is standing by with this afternoon's hero.
You are absolutely correct in the assertion that Adam Rosales is the happiest guy in the stadium right now. He informed me not only this is his first career Major League walk-off, but your first of your entire life.
Not first entire life. No, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Once in college and that's it.
Once in college. Okay, well, first in the
professional.
Just to talk about the feeling right now.
Oh, man, it's just great, you know. I didn't want to help the team out. That's what my goal is, really. Just looking to get a good pitch to hit right there, and he gave me one. So just capitalized on it.
What's it like when your teammates come out of the dugout and mob you like that?
There's nothing like it. That's what we play for. That's so fun.
This team obviously has had its fair share of struggles, but to see the fight that it's had, especially in this series, and then finally get one instead of coming up short, huge for this team.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just to see the way we came out that 9th inning, you know, and the way the bullpen kept us in that whole game. The way Tepish pitched, we played as a team today. It was awesome.
Enjoy the off day. Adam, and catch your breath up top. Adam Rosales with his first professional walk-off. Guys, back up to you.
Good stuff, Ben. Thank you. And thanks to Adam Rosales for getting that winner home for the Rangers. 3-2 the final. Aaron Hardigan and Mark McLemore will be back to wrap things up right after this at a very happy Globe Life Park in Arlington.